on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in. We will get more to the Detroit Tigers text a little bit later on. I do want to get to our Tuesday Tower here. This is something that we've been working on here for a couple of days. Last week it went over so well, so I decided let's just bring it back. Last week we just did top 10 dudes in Detroit, the top 10 athletes, that is. This week I went with the hot seats. Who has the hottest seat in Detroit sports? We'll start at the top of the pyramid. It's called Wait, You're Still Here? And then it's Steve Yzerman. Yep. He's still here. The second tier, Jack Flaherty and Wenceel Perez. Jack Flaherty has 11 starts under his belt this year, guys. He has 0 wins to his name. 0 for 6. 6 losses, 0 wins, 11 starts, with a 5.94 ERA. Wenceel Perez, he has a negative 1.1 WAR, which is the worst in baseball of 1,125 players to suit up this year. I'm going to say that again. 1,125 players have suited up in a major league game this year. Wenceel Perez is last. Yikes. The third tier, Last Chance U, AJ Hinch, Kenley Jansen, and Spencer Torkelson, the Tigers. Kenley Jansen, 4 blown saves this year, including over the weekend, gives up a grand walk-off home run in the 9th inning, just when you thought the Tigers were going to stop the bleeding and end it. Game 1 of the doubleheader ends like that. Spencer Torkelson is in this group as well because his .694 OPS ranks 23rd of 25 qualified first basemen this year. And AJ Hinch, we've talked about him a lot. Overmanaging, has not been able to spark this Tigers team back to life in any way. Fascinated with making Colt Keith a platoon guy, pulls his starters early. There is no sense of urgency in this clubhouse. The final tier. The ice is thin, but you are not dead. Tobias Harris. He overperformed in the playoffs. It's just still the most upgradable spot on the starting lineup. It's easily the player that's the most replaceable on the Pistons, and for that reason, he's got to be on this list. Terrion Arnold, I think, is on the thin ice, but you're not dead group as well. He's yet to really prove himself and his worth as a long-term starter on this team, and he basically has 8 more games to do that. And if he's still a disaster for 8 more games, I think by the time the season's halfway done, they're going to be finding his replacement. Scott Harris I have in this group as well. And I do have AJ Hinch ahead of Scott Harris because I don't think it's right to get rid of Scott Harris before Max Clark and Jose Briseño make their season debuts for the Tigers. Let's at least get his top prospects that he has held on to for so long some major league run before we decide it's time to bring in somebody else and have a new way of thinking. Like, I'm not a huge Scott Harris guy. We at least got to see his draft picks come all the way through the farm system. And the last person, because I couldn't really figure out who to do for this last spot on the bottom of the pyramid, is Drew Petzing. Not all that sold on you. It was an ultimately disappointing hire compared to, who was available during this hiring cycle. He's just not going to be a guy that I'm giving a whole lot of benefit of the doubt for. He's got everything to prove still. So a little unfair that Drew Petzing is on this list. But I had a hard time finding another person. So maybe I'm just totally wrong. Maybe there is another obvious one out there. What's your reaction to this Detroit sports hot seat Tuesday Tower?
Yeah, I mean, poor Drew Petzing. That's my first reaction here. The guy has not even suited up or, coached a single game yet with the Lions. But I guess he is going to be on thin ice, sure, because it's like, they're still trying to find the guy to replace Ben Johnson, and clearly it went so terribly with John Morton. So there's a big emphasis coming in on Drew Petzing.
Yeah, he's on thin ice simply because, I kind of just assume he's going to be bad, and as bad of a mindset as that is to have, think about all of Dan Campbell's hires as OC. Anthony Lynn, John Morton, and then you lucked into Ben Johnson. The two guys that you had to hire
We're not
from the outside.
say he lucked into Ben Johnson. He's been with Dan Campbell in his career.
Sure, okay, you didn't luck into him, but the two guys that you had to hire externally, awful decisions. So I guess I'm kind of setting myself up to feel a little disappointed with this Drew Petzing thing. We'll see what happens, though. We don't have to spend too much time on it.
Does a certain guy that we're going to talk about later in the show deserve to be on that bottom tier instead of Drew Petzing?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. You're referring to Jalen Duren, right?
Correct. Certainly he's on thin ice with the fans, right?
Yeah, he's certainly on thin ice with the fans. He's also 22 years old and is a third-team All-NBA guy. The conversation probably could just end there, and I get it doesn't because of the poor performance in the playoffs, the immediate regression once postseason play came along. He's still a third-team All-NBA guy at the end of the day, and then I look around the rest of this list, and it's like, no, these guys are just bad players all around. Jack Flaherty, Wenzel Perez, those are bad players. Spencer Torkelson is a bad player. This year, Kenley Jansen has been a bad player. Terrion Arnold, for the most part in his career, bad player. Tobias Harris' situation is a little different, not a bad player, but again, it's just an upgradable spot in the lineup. Jalen Duren is not a bad player. He had an extremely difficult playoffs. And obviously the fans revolted. All the same fans that didn't watch the Pistons in the regular season all of a sudden had something to say about the center. I think everyone who actually watched the Pistons regular season is well aware it is far too early to just give up on Jalen Duren. That's kind of where I stand on that and why he's not on this pyramid.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you in the fact that he'll be back. So it's hard to put a guy on here that you know for sure will be back.
Well, then I look at the top of the list.
It's a good
Steve
point.
Yzerman's
yeah, but
right
Yzerman,
there.
I no debate for the top of this. I honestly forgot he was still here, so that's a pretty good.
Hence the name of the tier.
Wait, you're still here? Yeah, that's pretty good. We already have Esco in our YouTube chat says Yzerman was my idol growing up, but I've wanted him gone for 3 years. I don't think Chris Ilitch has the balls to fire him. Yeah, and then the other guys. Wenzel Perez. Wenzel Perez even being on here. Yes, I understand it. But
he's the worst player
we all know
in
he
baseball.
stinks. Exactly. He's not going to be a part of this team if they're fully healthy. He's not going to be in the lineup. He's kind of just he wasn't even on the opening day roster.
Kyle, he shouldn't be on the lineup right now. I know the situation they're in and how many injuries they deal with.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. You're right.
Over 1,000 players have suited up in a major league game, and he's the worst one war-wise. The very worst. No players impacted their team more negatively than Wenzel Perez, yet he's out there every single day. It makes no sense. No sense. They are screaming at us that they don't care about this season. That's the message they send when Wenzel Perez is going to be batting 6th today when the lineup card inevitably comes out.
Yeah. And then the only guy I can think about here that deserves, I know we're going to talk about this throughout the rest of the show, but I was just trying to think, because to me, the people that are usually on thin ice are the general managers / coaches of teams, because they just always seem to be the scapegoats rather than a specific player. Now, you can point out specific players for the Tigers, that's for sure. And Tobias is kind of just the lone piston to throw in here. I certainly don't think JB or Trajan Langdon are on thin ice, despite them losing to the team that just got embarrassed by the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Does Brad Holmes deserve to maybe just be tossed on here? Just from because I don't think he's on thin ice. But if you think about it, if the Lions have back-to-back seasons of what just happened, they go 9-8, 8-9, miss the playoffs, and it's just oh man, now what? But I don't even want to think about that,
because the context of how the Lions season went disastrously. If it's because of
anything other than a Goff injury, though, I feel is not a valid excuse.
But what would be the number one thing to be this is Brad Holmes' fault for not doing this? Is it, hey, this secondary, the cornerback room still sucks? Because it's Brad Holmes did invest heavily into it. All these players just didn't work out. Honestly, Kyle, if this Lions season goes terribly, I think going into the year, there's more pressure on Dan Campbell than Brad Holmes.
Going into this year?
Going into this season, yes.
Really? You think so? There's probably neither of them really deserve to be on here. I was mainly just deciding what the next coach slash GM that just missed the list would be. And maybe that's why you kind of just default went with Drew Petzing for that final spot, because it doesn't feel like it belongs to Campbell or Holmes.
Maybe it could have been Shep instead.
That's not a
I
bad
kind of
one.
just like everything Shep brings to the table in terms of the energy.
Yeah,
like
I'm a
he's
fan.
really good in front of the camera and the microphone, so maybe I'm a little bit more lenient towards him and willing to give him some more opportunity. But the defense was bad last year.
Also,
Just was
maybe
bad.
maybe Torkelson should be even at the top of the list now that I'm thinking about it.
23rd of 25 qualified first baseman in
Oh.
OPS.
He's so bad.
But then you look at the other guys ahead of him,
yeah, I mean, Wenzel Paris literally is the worst player in baseball, so how could he not be higher?
and Jack Flaherty's winless in 11 starts.
That's crazy.
He doesn't have a single win yet this season, and he's played in 11 games. And nobody can take the crown from Steve Yzerman.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that guy still is employed by Chris Ilitch.
His seat has literally been so hot you can't even like put your hands on it before you sit on the seat because
It's vanished.
Because it hurts too much. Yeah.
This is the Iron Throne being melted down by a dragon. It's dead. It's dead. And yet this guy's still employed. Wait, you're still here? 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Your dream lawn, Servinsky sod can quite literally roll that out. Top quality sod that turns patchy yards into backyard showstoppers, and they've been doing it for 50 years, which means they're experts. Whether you're fixing a rough spot or redoing your whole yard, Servinsky delivers lush, green perfection. Fast, friendly, and farm fresh because your grass should be greener right now. Don't settle for a bland yard. Increase the value of your home and get the lawn your neighbors will envy with Servinsky sod.
The Ben Bosher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt. Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, let's get into some text about the Tuesday Tower. This is the Ben Bosher Show. Just to go over it once again real quickly. Steve Eisman, this is Detroit Sports Hot Seats. Steve Eisman at the top in the tier called Wait, You're Still Here? Second tier, addition by subtraction, Wenzel Perez, Jack Flaherty. Get them off the Tigers, please. Last Chance U, AJ Hinch, Kenley Jansen, Spencer Torkelson. The ice is thin, but you're not dead. The final tier. Tobias Harris, Drew Petzing, controversial, Scott Harris, and Terrion Arnold. Let's get into the mid messages here regarding the Tuesday Tower. Someone said, Drew Petzing being on this list is asinine. He hasn't even done anything yet and was hired just a couple of months ago. Yeah, here's the thing. The 10th spot on this list was probably always going to be a stretch. I was trying to run through in my head who it should be, this final spot for hot seats. And no matter what, it's going to be a stretch. I think with Drew Petzing, there's enough urgency with this Lions season and a bad enough history of the hires outside of Ben Johnson, the outsider hires, where you get a little bit nervous and almost, in my mind, expect it to be a little disappointing, especially considering who was available in the hiring cycle. That's not a path I want to go down again, but it was ultimately a disappointing hire, and that's probably the reason he ends up on this list, which is not fair to him.
Yeah,
but it had to be somebody.
It's certainly not fair to him. But at least you can recognize that. It's not like you're sitting here like, yeah, he's on thin ice. We need to get rid of him if he has one bad game. So I don't really know who that 10th guy is. We kind of threw out a couple of options, but unfortunately, just went to our bald friend Drew.
Yeah, I thought about Duren. I didn't want it to be Duren. I think
Duren. It makes more sense though, right? It
makes more sense for the folks that just
ice.
Sure, it makes more sense for the folks that tuned into the playoffs and didn't watch any of the regular season. I think that's where I've kind of landed. If you really want Jalen Duren gone and you're slamming your fist that he shouldn't be here at this point, probably tells me you didn't watch a whole ton of the regular season where he was one of the more dominant centers we had in the NBA this year. I get it. I understand.
But are you sitting here pumping your fist that Drew Petzing needs to be gone?
No.
Is anyone?
No. Nobody's doing that.
And people are doing it with Duren, So it's interesting.
I've become a Duren defender, turns out.
Pretty odd.
Yeah, would not have guessed that during the playoffs. Marlon says, why is Scott Harris so low? He's been absolutely awful. Total used car snake oil salesman. In a real organization, he would have been fired by now. I think I laid it out. The only reason that Scott Harris is not on the same level as AJ Hinch, the reason AJ Hinch is higher than Scott Harris, is because Scott Harris at the very least can still say, well, I have Max Clark and Jose Briseño laying around. And that will keep him his job for at least the end of this season. Until we see Max Clark and Jose. If those guys make it up and then suck, all right, see you, Scott. But we at least have to let these players, his draftees, his farm system come through before we decide he's totally done. Were the last two trade deadlines pretty abominable? Yes. Do we wish he would have added a bat in free agency? Yes. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Framber Valdez, deal gets done. I don't know. What's the verdict on Justin Verlander? I don't think we're giving him all that much credit for it, but hey, we certainly liked it at the time.
It was cool. Yeah, I was never going to be upset about it.
Kenley Jansen, at least they tried to get another saver. Another closer. Obviously, it has not worked out.
It was a great signing at the time.
At least they tried. It's mostly the Framber thing. There's goods and bads you can point to with Scott Harris. I'm not willing to say he should be gone until I see Max Clark. I need to be able to see Max Clark and judge Scott Harris based on based on Clark, McGonigal, and Briseño.
So you're just kind of putting all your chips on Scott Harris in on one player, essentially?
I mean, that's 3 with McGonigal.
Yeah, but we already know with McGonigal. Shouldn't he kind of get the plus
Scott
for
Harris
that?
is 1 for 1.
That's what I'm saying. He's 1 for 1 with a guy who could be the Tigers' best player for 12 years. That feels like more than just okay, that's good. Now who's the next one? Is this guy also going to be that? It feels like a pretty great plus to be the guy that drafted Kevin McGonigal.
I agree with you. That's why he's lower on this list compared to AJ Hinch, where I think a lot of people really want to make Scott Harris the scapegoat in this situation, which I get it. I understand the reasoning why. I would just say, hey, this McGonigal thing is no joke. He identified this guy, brought him into the system, and developed him. I don't like Scott Harris all that much. He deserves credit for some things, and this is one of them. That's why he's on the lowest tier of this list.
Funny YouTube chat, by the way. Nick just says, Ben's defending Duren better than Duren defended in the playoffs. It's pretty good.
Wow. Alex says, every coach and GM should be put on the hot seat. Teams are all failures and have been for quite some time. I don't know about that.
Just put the teams on here. It's just 4 things.
Every single coach and GM in Detroit sports should be on. Like, what is Trajan Langdon's hasn't
only
done
8
anything
spots.
to be
Then we'd have to come up with the other 2 spots. Well, it is interesting because like all of these spots are filled up, I would guess, by guys that just aren't that good at their job. That's why they're here, right? Would you say that's the answer for all 10 of them? Maybe not AJ Hinch.
That
situational as it. Like they're on here because they're all not very good at what they do currently, right? Now AJ Hinch,
Tobias, I think, is a little different too.
Yeah, Hinch, Tobias, and kind of Scott Harris all kind of get a qualifier for that. But I think Tarek Skubal, like at least, I know we can talk about this throughout the rest of the show. Skubal deserves some conversation to be added to this. He's certainly not bad at what he does, but just from like a on thin ice with the fans. I don't know.
Now we're cooking.
He's been on thin ice for weeks, for months.
Maybe he should be the guy that replaces Drew Petzing. That's not a bad idea, Kyle. That's a good way of thinking about it. All right, I'll reconsider the tower. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosher Show. We are live here on 100.9 The Mitt. 11 o'clock hour on the way. I want to talk a little bit more about Jalen Duren now that this Eastern Conference Finals is wrapped up. The Knicks are going back to the finals. How does this relate to Jalen Duren? What's the NBA comparison for him? Because I think there's a player that has a great timeline to compare to Jalen Duren. That's coming up when we come back.
The Ben Bosher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
house. This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, welcome back into the Ben Bosher Show. We are live 10 o'clock hour here from Down Diamond in the Blaze Electric Studio. Let's start out the 10 o'clock hour a little differently today. Here's the news.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
Switching it up on us, Ben.
I know.
All right. Sure, we can do that. Let's hit the news. We got a lot to get into. Obviously, we didn't have a show yesterday, so we got a lot to cover from over the weekend. Let's first off take a look at the Covenant Healthcare injury report. Haven't really discussed this that much. You brought it up slightly in the open, but Troy Melton made his return off of the injured list for the Tigers in Game 2 of that doubleheader against the Orioles on Sunday, and it went pretty well for him. 5 2/3 inning pitch, 79 pitches total. 1 earned run, gave up just 2 hits with 3 walks and 3 Ks. Really nice to see Troy Melton back, and went a little bit more longer in this game than I thought he would. 80 pitches. I figured he would get somewhere between 60 to 70 pitches. So pretty cool to see him get basically a full slate.
Yeah, I mean, we knew he was fully 100% ready to go. But you're right. There was still they'll probably just be cautious. No, they're just let him go with the wind. I think he's a part of this rotation the rest of the season, even when Verlander and Skubal get healthy, theoretically, if that ever happens. I think Melton is just probably a starter instead of Jack Flaherty. I mean, there's no justification for continuing to start Jack Flaherty.
I just wonder what they're going to do. Is he straight up just a DFA candidate?
You got to put him in the pen.
But is he bringing value to the pen?
I would put him in the pen to start out, just to see what happens. Because then, in theory, you go to the pen, you can throw a little bit harder because you know you're not going as long. You know you're not going as many innings. Just, hey, you have 2 innings to get through. You need to get through 6 outs, bro. Just throw hard. And we'll see if the velo can have a little bit of an uptick. You got to give him that chance first, since he's a $20 million
He's almost
guy.
got a 6 ERA. Yeah, the 20 mil is definitely the tough part.
That's probably the most and if he still sucks, okay, then bye. DFA him. I think it'd be cutting corners to just DFA him immediately.
Yeah, you were in disbelief with that balk that he had.
He balked a guy with a runner on third base. It's just a free run for the other team. That's about as free of a run as you can possibly give up in Major League Baseball.
It is. Hey, go home.
Walk home.
For free. So tough.
Without even throwing a pitch. Go ahead. Here's a run. And gives up a home run to Jackson Holiday the next at-bat. Just unreal stuff from this.
How does Flaherty have a worse WAR than both Emmanuel De Jesus and Drew Anderson?
He's out there more innings. He's more starts.
Still, I mean, it's just...
No, the real question is, how does Wenzel Perez have the worst WAR in baseball when he only has, 35 games played? That's crazy.
It is crazy. Okay, we had some big news this weekend with the Pistons. I know we're going to talk about it here next, but we got to talk about an even bigger one. Cade Cunningham makes the All-NBA first team with Detroit. I know we were a little bit worried if it was going to be him or Jaylen Brown as part of that first team. They give it to Cade. Jaylen Brown says it's rigged, whatever. Jaylen...
He needs to shut up.
Yeah, he really does. Jalen Duren is on second team All-NBA, and then third team All-NBA, excuse me. And then Asar Thompson makes first team All-Defense.
So, Cade Cunningham, 4th Piston since the merger in 1970 to be named first team All-Pro, joining Isaiah Thomas, Dave Bing, and Grant Hill. Cade Cunningham, also the only American to be named first team All-NBA this year. So, suck it, Anthony Edwards. Suck it, Tyrese Halliburton. Cade Cunningham, for now, is the best American we have.
And he's the best American in the NBA since 2020 because Colin Cowherd kept talking about on his show the other day how Cade is the first American to receive a first-place MVP vote in 4 years.
Since LeBron.
Yeah.
In 2020. That's crazy.
Which is really crazy to think about.
Also, who voted for Cade to win MVP? That's
Two people did.
That's just, oh, man.
For sure, whatever Detroit beat, it's had to have been, right? But, come on. You guys can't be doing that. Cade was not the MVP of the league. Come on, man. That's crazy. But nonetheless, still a part of first team All-NBA. So shout out to Cade. Very, very good accomplishment. Now that we're a week or so removed from the season, it's a lot easier to recognize those things than being mad about how the things went down. So I'm cool with it. Let's talk about, though, how things continue in the NBA. Last night, the New York Knicks defeated Cleveland in major fashion. They're up by like 30 in the middle of the third quarter, just blowing them out. They are headed to the finals for the first time since 1999. They have won 11 straight playoff games. They swept Philly in round 2. They sweep Cleveland. They were down 2-1 in round 1. Ripped off 3 straight. 11 straight games, and you can party like it's 1999 in New York right now. They're headed to the finals.
Yeah, I think I told you over the weekend. I don't know if I said it on the air. Game 3 was the first time I was watching the Knicks and thought, yeah, maybe they do have a chance. Maybe they do have a slight chance to beat one of these teams in the West, because they seem to know that secret that we talked about so many times throughout the course of the Pistons season that the Pistons definitely had, but they had their offensive limitations, but they knew the secret. It was everyone is selfless. No one's looking out for their own shot. Everyone's goal is the same. Everyone has a common goal. I feel like the Knicks are playing that style of basketball, and when you can achieve that, it's kind of like the final step. That's what it takes to win a championship, and that's what I feel like I've been watching with the Knicks in this, 11-game winning streak in the playoffs.
And they have a selfless superstar. Like, everyone can say what they want about Brunson. Like, he absolutely is willing to do whatever it takes for his teammates, whatever, to sacrifice this and that to win. And he did that with his contract a couple years ago, with his extension, to get his buddies from Villanova on the team. He does it in games where, okay, Cleveland's going to sell out to stop him from scoring. All right, I don't have to score. I'll pass. And you can't say the same about the superstar on the other side for Cleveland. And so I think that's what made a huge difference in this series. It definitely hurts watching Cleveland get punked by New York, knowing that, as soon as, remember when Cleveland lost to Detroit, it was like, that's why I'm the most mad. Cleveland is going to get killed by that team. And I think the Pistons would have put up a good fight.
Well, I think everything is broken pretty nice for the Knicks. Like, I think two things can be true. One being that the Knicks are playing at an extremely high level right now, and two being that things have broken easy for them. They played that 76ers team that literally sacrificed their entire season to beat Boston. It took everything they had to come back from 3-1. Literally, they died doing it in Game 7. Knicks blow them out of the water. Cavs have played 14 games, 2 Game 7s in back-to-back series against the Pistons and Toronto. And then they get to play a well-rested Knicks team who just throttles them. Things have worked out nice for the Knicks.
For sure. I don't think it's going to work out so nice for them in the finals.
Well, think about it, too.
From a
like, they're going
to
get a nice long break here before the finals start, too.
They also said they didn't really like the break in between round 2 and 3. Yeah, well, I mean, they came out in Game 1 against Cleveland and were down by like 22 in the fourth quarter and yet somehow won. There is quite some time before the NBA Finals start as well, but we do still have the series going on in the West. I do want to quickly say, though, really, really unfortunate that the Pistons didn't get to the conference finals, because this is now the 4th straight time that the team that made the finals in the East lost in the conference finals the year prior. The Miami Heat lost in the conference finals in 22. They go to the finals in 23. Boston is the same way, going in 24. Last year, Indiana goes to the finals. They lost to Boston the year before that. And then New York lost to Indiana last year, and now are in the finals. So is Cleveland making the finals next year?
No, they're going to blow up their entire team. How many of their 4 main guys are still on that team? 2 by the time next season starts?
At least 2. I don't think Mobley's gone. I'd be very shocked if Mobley was gone. And I think Mitchell is just back. Now, the other 2, that's a great question. And we'll see with that. The other game on the Western Conference side of things, Game 5, a huge one tonight. It's at 8:30. Spurs Thunder tied up at 2 games apiece. Ben and I over the weekend were, talking on this series. It felt like the Thunder had taken full control and kind of figured something out. But man, missing AJ Mitchell plus Jalen Williams ended up being a huge hindrance for them in Game 4, because the Spurs were able to shut down Shea. San Antonio is getting healthier as the series goes on as well. Had another big Wemby game in Game 4. Big one tonight, Game 5, back in OKC.
This is the series that I've been much more locked into. I mean, I've watched the Eastern Conference series, but this is like get the popcorn out every other night type of stuff for the Ben Bosher household. I love watching the Wembanyama versus OKC series. This has been so phenomenal. I can't wait for tonight. I think if you are not to me, this is Magic Johnson as a rookie going to the finals and, playing center and winning finals MVP. Like, this is kind of what Victor Wembanyama is doing. And obviously Magic's a rookie and Victor's in his third year, but this is unheard of in modern NBA to as a third-year guy, go all the way this far and be pushing the previous champions
doesn't happen.
out of the window to go to the finals. That's the equivalent of what it is to me, is Magic Johnson in 1980. Yeah, equivalent.
Yeah, and we're getting unprecedented stuff going on right now, like, the Knicks making the finals. So who knows? Maybe we'll get another thing on the side of the Spurs. Yeah, I think the NBA is dreaming for the Spurs to now win this series. I think most people are in general, but this would be, imagine Wemby versus the Knicks, Wemby in the Garden in the finals.
Adam Silver foaming at the mouth.
Oh, my goodness. But also, if it's Thunder Knicks, then the whole world is rooting for the Knicks, which also might be a bigger win for Adam Silver and the NBA. If everybody's rooting for New York.
I also decided that over the weekend, that I think I you know me, I typically root for the dynasty. I want to see the greatness. I want to see the repeats. I can't get there with OKC, man. I hate this team, and I hate watching them, and I will be rooting for New York over them if that ends up being the series.
And I thought you were totally out on rooting for New York at all.
I just can't do it with Shea, man. I can't do it.
Did you see Chalamet after they won last night, by the way?
Yeah, he was acting like a 12-year-old.
He was a fanboy. He goes up to Mikal Bridges. He's like, dude, I have your jersey, man. Like, I love you, dude. It's like
he kept calling Brunson the king. King Brunson. Like, bro, you're like 29 years old. What are you doing?
You're like a much bigger celebrity than any of the basketball players. It's just so funny. But he turns into a kid. It's hilarious.
989-837-6125. We talk about having the home field advantage all the time. Well, if your home or business uses propane, the company with the advantage is Forward Energy. Since 1925, they've been serving our local community with propane and fuel solutions for homes, businesses, and local people. Reliable service. Forward Energy, part of the home team. I should tell you as well that our 10 o'clock hour is brought to you by Aired Insurance. Aired Insurance, it's all about putting you in a better insurance position. Whether you're dealing with home or auto or life or business coverage, they make sure your protection actually fits. If you're looking for a team that takes the guesswork out of insurance, that's it. Be sure to go follow Aired Insurance Group on social media to stay connected and see how they are helping people every day.
The Ben Bosher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
So we learned this weekend, Kyle, that Jalen Duren makes third team All-NBA, which means Jalen Duren is now eligible for the max contract. And this got fans really riled up. Like, oh, man, they can't afford to give Jalen Duren a 5-year, $287 million contract. He's not worth that at all. You know what? Right now I would tell you he is not, in fact, worth that. But claiming that the Pistons shouldn't sign him, guys, what's the alternative? You let him walk and get absolutely nothing in return? You sign and trade him? Or the most likely scenario, you just bring him back. And I've had people say, well, that doesn't make doing it right, even though they're going to end up doing it. Look, here's where I've settled on the Jalen Duren situation. 22 years old, third team All-NBA. I found a perfect comparison for him. Dwight Howard. His first year as an All-Star, Orlando made the playoffs for the first time under him. And guess what happened? They got swept by Detroit. He regressed. He went from shooting 17%. He went from 17 points per game to 15 points per game, only reached the 15-point mark one time. The one time he eclipsed it, series was already over. Shot tracking data hadn't been developed yet, so I can't compare the offense. You understand, right? The offensive comparison between Jalen Duren and Dwight Howard. The big, strong, physically imposing, above the rim center. That's where all their shots come from. Not really doing much on the outside. Dwight Howard got paid that offseason, right after Orlando got swept. In the following year, when there was controversy on, is he really going to be someone who can lead a team? Is he really anything more than just a big athletic forward who got completely taken away in the playoffs? All those conversations that we've had about Jalen Duren, people were having about Dwight Howard after they made the playoffs and got swept. He gets paid that offseason regardless. In the following year, he leads the league in rebounding. He rips off 5 straight All-NBA teams. And he averaged 20 points in the playoffs while bringing Orlando to a finals a few years later. That is called development. And I think Jalen Duren is still capable of some development. Now, they are different players on defense. No, I do not see Jalen Duren becoming a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Ever. But offensively, I think the comparisons are pretty good. Jalen Duren, can he take that next step up? I think it'd be crazy to say he cannot. Of course, he's 22 years old. Now, the problem resides in whether or not Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson can play next to each other in the long term, being able to play two guys who are non-shooters next to each other. Yes, there is hold up in that for me. But I think I and the Pistons are willing to see this out one more time with those two guys together, at least one more time, and see what kind of improvement Jalen Duren can make, and if he can truly become someone who can't be schemed out of a playoff series, who's too physically imposing to slow down, like Dwight Howard was after he got over this hump, after he got paid. So do you like this comparison, Kyle, or am I a little bit reaching by comparing Jalen Duren to Dwight Howard?
Well, it makes sense in theory. Like, when Jalen Duren came into the league, and especially once he started to have some prowess as a real player, the Dwight Howard comparison has always been like the ideal. Like, he could, if he ends up being something like Dwight Howard, that's an awesome player. Now, the issue is Jalen Duren will never be Dwight Howard. I think we probably should at least just throw that out there, right? He will never be tied for the most depoys in NBA history.
Correct.
A number 1 player on an NBA Finals team as well. Like, that's what Dwight Howard was.
Yeah. In the weakest era of the NBA.
I mean, we're doing that?
I mean, it's true.
The weakest era of the NBA, the Pistons had gone to the finals for years and years, and it was in between the Celtics finals.
No. It was a weak East.
Was it?
Yes. Nonetheless, he won't be Dwight Howard.
I disagree.
Sure. He won't be Dwight Howard. We can agree there.
Yeah, he will not be as good as a player as Dwight Howard was. And like, Dwight Howard was a Hall of Famer. He was awesome. I know the end of his career was kind of weird. Sure, he's an amazing player. So he will not be that. But I think, like, the tough part about the fans turning on Jalen Duren is the fact that I agree with you. He won't be gone. Like, you don't move off of a guy that made an All-NBA team this early into his career. And just in general, like a guy that's coming off his first All-NBA appearance, you're just going to get rid of that guy. I've seen a lot of people doing the opposite of this and comparing Jalen Duren to DeAndre Ayton.
Yep, I've seen this.
As DeAndre Ayton, the Phoenix Suns go to the NBA Finals. Ayton was pretty good in that playoffs. They end up losing. He's a restricted free agent. It was in year 4 for him. They didn't give him the contract in the offseason. Indiana gives him the max that they can, and everyone's like, oh, man, like, the Suns aren't going to match this. Ayton wasn't going to get that kind of money. And then they matched it because they didn't want to lose into the Pacers. All of a sudden, Ayton becomes a really, let's just be straight up, average center in the NBA, if that, below average, you could say. Mm-hmm. They had to trade an asset with him to move off of that terrible contract where he ended up sitting on Portland's bench for a couple years. So, like, I've seen people take that route. That would be very unfortunate. I don't believe that he is headed down the DeAndre Ayton path, but I don't think he's headed down the Dwight Howard path either. I think that this is kind of his own thing, but I'm with you in the fact that they can't move off of him. He just made an All-NBA team, and this was his first playoffs of actually being that guy. There's red flags everywhere, 100%, but he's not going to get this $287 million number or $278, whatever it is. No. He's not getting that. He's not getting north of 200. The number is probably going to be somewhere in the 180 range. It just depends on how weird other teams are willing to get with this.
DeAndre Ayton also never made an all-star game.
Right.
Never was an all-NBA guy. But never averaged the 19 points per game. I get the comparison.
Yeah. I think after that season, people were like, okay, now this is the Ayton leap. It's coming. And that's why he got the deal. Where this is the opposite with Duren, right? He had the leap during the regular season and then fell off in the playoffs. Now it's like, oh, now what to do with this guy? Mm-hmm. This is odd. Like, this is kind of uncharted territory. And the Howard thing is probably the most recent example to look at.
Yeah. If you're choosing to do the half-glass full thing on Jalen Duren, it's some version of what Dwight Howard was on offense. Just this force that cannot be stopped from going to the rim. I honestly, like, if Asar Thompson didn't exist, maybe if Asar Thompson didn't exist, they just wouldn't be in the position they were in the playoffs in general. But if they just had like a lights-out shooter in place of Asar Thompson, I don't think Jalen Duren gets schemed out of a playoff game the way that he did. I think it's a lot more to do with roster construction than, Jalen Duren's soft. Trust me, man, all that stuff, I remember it. Jalen Duren was soft
wanted him
in
gone.
Those playoffs.
You literally came on the show and wanted him off the team.
Yes, and that was in the moment how I was feeling, just as it was everyone else. But I've had the ability to move off of that since the playoffs have ended, look at the season as a whole and say, you know what, there was a lot more good than positive with Jalen Duren. Now, if this happens again in the playoffs and it's like, yeah, this guy just doesn't look like he wants to play yet again, okay, then I'll admit I was wrong, everyone else was right, and so be it. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say a 22-year-old can keep improving on offense. And now that there's a little bit more of a burden on him in the playoffs, and he's understanding what that's going to take and what that's going to look like from a defensive side of things, I think he hits this offseason with a little bit more intention. You would hope.
Now, there's also the opposite route you could think as well, where the second that contract gets signed, he returns back to the version of Jalen Duren we've known for quite some time. I think that's probably the fear that some people have with him. Now, if he has any sort of competitive bone in his body, that wouldn't be the case. So I'm willing to take that risk on your side of things as well. And I also just think for the people that are like, no, get rid of Duren, what's the alternative? Okay, you're just losing a player that was really good for you. Like, you're not just replacing that just because you're not paying him. You're not just going to go get a guy. So it's a tough toe to line.
989-837-6125. Dwight Howard, Jalen Duren. Is it a fair comparison? Hey, Mid-Michigan, do your eyes feel itchy, dry, or irritated all day? That is not normal. Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic specializes in dry eye treatment that actually works. If your eyes burn, water, or feel tired from screens, they can help you get real lasting relief. From advanced dry eye care to exams, glasses, and contacts, they've got you covered. Stop dealing with discomfort and start seeing clearer and more comfortably again. See better, feel better with Mid-Modern Eye Care and Dry Eye Clinic next to Kroger in Midland.
The Ben Bosher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, let's check the YouTube. Let's check the mid messages for what people are saying about this Jalen Duren, Dwight Howard comparison. Go ahead, Kyle. What are they saying in the YouTube?
Esco says, Ben, the problem with that you thinking this is acting like, Ben, the problem with you thinking this is acting like this was Duren's second season. Dude's going into his fifth season. How much more can he really improve?
It was his fourth season this year. He also came into the league at 19 and was the youngest player in the league for a full year. That's the slight difference to me. He's still only 22. And most of the time, you're not hitting your prime until you're 27. And then in the case of Jalen Duren, he just happened to, get into the league when he was 20 and when he was 19. So I would still say there's still room to improve both physically and mentally the more you play in these playoff games and understand what defenses are going to bring to you. Now that you have this experience, I know he got the playoff experience against the Knicks too, but that was a little different because you weren't really expecting a whole lot from him. No, I still think he can continue to develop.
And Dwight Howard came in the league at only 18.
That's crazy.
That helps your comparison straight out of high school. Esco then also says, dude had one decent game out of 14 playoff games, and people want to back up the Brinks truck.
People want to what?
Pretty good. We want to back up the Brinks truck for him, the big money trucks.
It's not that we want to. It's that that's
Right.
just is what's going to happen.
Yeah, because Nick in our YouTube chat says, if you won't be a great player, then how can you pay him great player money to keep him? I think the answer to that is just, okay, then what else are you going to do? It's kind of the only option. It's the way that the system is set up. And you're right. I mean, he's going to be paid as if he is a great player, and he might just run it back as an all-star again. And if he has another terrible playoff run next year, a year from now, then we might be looking at that like, oh, man, like I don't really know what else they could have done, but they probably should have done something differently. We might be looking at it that way.
I still think he can improve. Anything else in the YouTube?
No, we can just end it there.
All right, let's go to Around the League.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
I like this last thing we got from Kevin, too. Jalen Duren was a legitimate finalist for Most Improved Player of the Year. Of course, he can continue to develop. There are those guys who have like the double Most Improved Player years where it's like 1 year they go from not really being a factor to being an all-star, the way that Jalen Duren did. And then they take another leap the following year of like, oh, this guy went from an all-star to one of the best players in the NBA. I don't think that's going to necessarily happen from Duren. I mean, the jump for Duren literally just happens in the playoffs. In the regular season, he's a 22 points per game guy and could lead the league in rebounding. Like, that's development for him. I don't think he'll ever be a 25 points per game guy. Anyway, around the league, today I want to go over the favorite and the favorite storyline to win every single award. First up, do you want to start or end with the MVP?
Let's start with the MVP.
The favorites are Josh Allen at plus 600, Lamar Jackson at plus 700, and Drake May at plus 850. My favorite storyline is Mahomes at plus 1,000.
Really?
Coming
what a
back
shock.
from the injury, favorable third place schedule for Kansas City. You don't have to travel much. They're below average travel team as well. He's attempting to tie Tom Brady for 3 MVPs. Here are the players with 3 MVPs. Jim Brown, Johnny Unitas, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, and Aaron Rodgers. Coming back from the injury, I think this is the most obvious storyline favorite to win the award.
I'm just happy you didn't pick Caleb Williams.
See, I don't think he's the favorite storyline.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But he's still a plus 1,500. Not bad value there.
Might be the best value.
He's probably your second favorite storyline. Yeah. I mean, favorite storyline here, I think it'd be cool if Lamar had like the bounce back season based off of last year and then won another MVP. That would be pretty crazy if that happened. But to me, I think the true favorite storyline, and this might upset some folks, it's Stafford going back to back. What if Stafford goes back to back after we are still like, is he going to retire after this year? He just got the 1-year extension. Is
does the Rodgers.
Is his career about to end? And then he just continues to elevate at the end of his career. Yeah.
And it's very, mirror to what the Rodgers situation was because they drafted his replacement in Jordan Love, and then he won an MVP.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford just got his backup in replacement drafted.
Puts
in
the
Ty
pressure
Simpson,
on.
And he just might win another MVP. Yeah, that'd be really good. I like that pick. Offensive Player of the Year. The favorites are Bijan, plus 850, Gibbs, plus 1,000, and Puka Nacua, plus 1,200. The favorite storyline is Jahmyr Gibbs, finally unleashed with no David Montgomery and a new improved offensive line. So 2 years ago, I'm not going to count last year because the offensive line was so terrible. But 2 years ago, Saquon won Offensive Player of the Year with 2,504 yards, 2,504 yards, averaged 5.7 yards per attempt and 18 rushing touchdowns. Gibbs also averaged 5.7 yards per attempt and had 18 rushing touchdowns. He's got about 170 less carries. Finished top 3 in both 10 and 15-plus yard carries. I think with no David Montgomery in the backfield and it truly being the Jahmyr Gibbs Sonic special, this is the best story we have going into the Offensive Player of the Year race.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. And we're Lions fans, so that really helps it. Gibbs is awesome, and the fact that his other co-part is now gone, certainly everyone, I assume, is going to be a hot pick here for Gibbs, especially since he's not the favorite. I bet Gibbs is going to be a very popular choice. I think there's something to be said about it feels like Gibbs and Bijan have separated themselves from McCaffrey. And if CMC just had another healthy year where he was just full bore, like as great as he was last year too, there's something to be said there. The old guy running back that is also starting to get rid of the injury curse thing. But that would result in him staying healthy this year, which I don't know if he's going to do that. Mm-hmm. Kenneth Walker, by the way, being as high as he is on this list is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He's just behind Amon-Ra St. Brown and ahead of Malik Neighbors. I mean, that's pretty crazy. For me, yeah, I mean, Gibbs is going to be the answer, but I'll pivot to a different one here. I think Jefferson kind of reinserting himself as like, hey, did you guys forget about me? Like,
yeah, it feels
JSN was the offensive player of the year. Jamar Chase obviously had a great year once again last season.
Even Puka.
Yeah, Puka is absolutely like one of the better receivers in the NFL and has had back-to-back awesome years. Like Jefferson, I still think a lot of people believe he's the best receiver in the NFL. It's just last year he had 9 as his QB. So with Kyler reinserted into this thing, I think Jefferson could have a huge year and just kind of hey, don't forget what I'm doing in Minnesota.
Defensive player of the year. The favorites are Myles Garrett at plus 600, Will Anderson at plus 800, and Aiden Hutchinson and Micah Parsons tied at plus 1100. I think my favorite storyline, though,
I think there's an obvious one.
It's Micah Parsons.
Really?
Or Max Crosby was the other one I had written
Crosby.
down. They just might not be good enough, though. I
100%.
guess Myles Garrett did win it last year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
With Parsons, he's also got the Mahomes thing coming for him. He's coming back from the ACL tear. Parsons, for some reason, I don't remember this. He had 12 and a half sacks through 14 games last year, so he probably would have finished with 15 plus. He had 3.5 against the Lions in both of the games combined. Ugh. And the fact that he's never won a deep boy is kind of just setting him up to win one eventually. Like, there's no way he can continue to go year in, year out if he's healthy without winning one of these.
Kind of felt like Josh Allen, like, okay, at some point he's going to win an MVP. Like, yeah, that's a good point.
The Crosby one, you can make the case for that because I think that's also a really good pick.
I think just from the storyline, like, Max Crosby literally got traded to the Ravens, and then 2 days later, never mind. And he's back on the Raiders. Imagine he wins the depoy after that happened. I mean, this is one of the weirdest things that has happened.
He basically just has to lead the league in sacks, right? And
right.
He's probably going to win the depoy simply because of the story.
Yeah, and he's got the Iron Man status, so he'll play all the games, at least, because last year they sat him out at the end of the season. But, like, if the Raiders are fine, and I think fine for them is probably, 8 and 9?
Yeah.
I would say, especially in that division.
Even 7 and 10 is fine.
Yeah, I think so, too. If the Raiders are fine, Crosby leads the league in sacks. We all know how great of a run defender he is from the edge as well. Like, Crosby winning the depoy is for sure my favorite storyline just because of the weirdness that happened this offseason with him.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. The favorites are Jeremiah Love at plus 430, Mendoza at plus 430, Jordan Tyson for the Saints at plus 650, Cardinal Tate with the same odds at plus 650. My favorite storyline, it's got to be Carnell 1 being Cam Ward's true wide receiver 1. Cam Ward didn't have a wide receiver. Calvin Ridley was his best receiver last year. And now you finally give the number 1 overall pick a number 1 wide receiver. I think there's a chance these guys could be not like a top 5 offense by any means or anything close to that, but just it's something to be like for Tennessee fans to finally be like, whoa, look at this. Like they actually might have something here. I love the Cam Ward Carnell Tate connection. So I'm going with Carnell Tate as my favorite storyline.
The amount of guys you can bet on for this, by the way, is
crazy.
Just you could literally bet on Blake Miller to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Plus 40,000.
The book's just like, we'll take it.
I think they put every single offensive rookie that was drafted in this, which is just, I guess you do it because those guys aren't going to win. To me, the best storyline comes down to the Mekhi Lemon thing is cool because of A.J. Brown leaving. Like, if Brown leaves, they trade him, and Mekhi Lemon is awesome as a rookie, that's a pretty fun storyline because you know what we're going to do? We're going to say, oh, Howie Roseman, he did it again.
And
Look at this.
He'll be on a good team.
Yeah, like it's going to be just that's going to be bad for Lions fans, I guess, if that happens because just for everybody, I guess. The real best storyline, though, it still is just Mendoza. It just is. In Vegas, that guy is the most non-Vegas guy ever. Best, like, on the Indiana football team last year that was so dominant, and his personality, I think, just plays into this, so I'm still just going to rock with Mendoza.
If he's not a Vegas guy, what is he?
An Omaha, Nebraska guy?
I feel like he'd pair really well with one of the Harbaughs.
Yeah, I mean, him and Jim Harbaugh together, ooh, that's
Two
a lot of
just weirdos.
It's a lot of brain power or non-power. I really don't know how you want to word that.
They would just get in a smile off. How's your day been off? The politeness off.
Yeah, for real.
Comeback player of the year: Mahomes plus 150, Kyler plus 550, Micah Parsons plus 1,000. Those are your favorites, but my favorite storyline, it's got to be Mahomes. I mean, if he plays all 17 games and is Mahomes, he's going to win comeback player of the year.
2 awards to Mahomes.
I mean, if he wins the MVP, he's
Just
winning
for the
this one.
storyline, though. Yeah, I mean, this is like the storyline award. Whoever has this is just whoever has the best storyline gets it. So yeah, I mean, there's a reason why he's plus 150 right now. It definitely is Mahomes.
Coach of the year: Jesse Minter plus 850, John Harbaugh plus 850, Robert Saleh plus 1,200. I think John Harbaugh just has to be the best storyline here, right?
Yeah.
Coaching I mean, if the Giants are like anything close to relevant, if they have 11 wins, lock it up. He's getting the award.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's the Ben Bosher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. That is around the league. Hey, quick heads up for all the parents and athletes out there. You've got the kids, and they've got spring and summer sports right around the corner. Great Lakes Spine and Medical has you covered with sports physicals. They make the process fast, easy, and stress-free. No long waits, no bouncing all over town. Plus, you're not just checking a box. Their medical team actually looks at the overall movement, flexibility, and injury prevention to help athletes stay connected all season long. Whether it's school sports, travel teams, or rec leagues, Great Lakes Spine and Medical is a great local option to get it done right and on time. Appointments are easy to schedule. Get those physicals done now and be ready for game day.
The Ben Bosher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. Repair on 100.9 The Myth.
All right, let's look at a little bit more feedback from what we got from our Tuesday Tower. Again, it was our Detroit Sports Hot Seat rankings. At the very top of the list, we had none other than Steve Yzerman in a tier of his own, just called, wait, you're still here? Yes, Steve Yzerman still employed, even though he is 0 for 7 in making the playoffs as the Detroit Red Wings GM. It doesn't make any sense why he's still around, but nonetheless, he is here, and he is the GM, and he is at the top of this pyramid by himself. In the second group, we have Jack Flaherty and Wenzel Perez. Jack Flaherty has started 11 games and has 0 wins, 6 losses, near 6 ERA. Wenzel Perez is literally the worst player in Major League Baseball, and I say that literally because he has the worst WAR of anyone who has suited up in a Major League game this year. The third tier I call Last Chance U, A.J. Hinch, Kenley Jansen, Spencer Torkelson. These are guys where it's like, yeah, Kenley Jansen and Torkelson more so than Hinch, but like, yeah, you guys don't have a lot of time left, do you? And it feels like Kenley Jansen, if he has another blown save, is probably just no longer allowed to be out in the ninth inning if he's not already there.
Has he given up 3 walk-off homers this year or just 3 walk-offs?
He's given up 3 walk-offs.
Yeah.
2 of them are walk-off home runs.
I mean, the one on Sunday was just like...
Gut punch.
Okay.
Yeah, gut punch.
Couldn't even believe that one.
Torkelson has one of the worst OPSs of all first basemen, 23rd of 25 qualified guys. Those guys more so than Hinch, it's like, hey, man, we need to see something here quick. Hinch is kind of, it's tough to ask from a manager, but like if the bleeding doesn't stop, I think Hinch being gone is going to happen sooner rather than later.
You could tell me any Spencer Torkelson stat right now and be like, he has one of the worst blank. And I would just believe you. I'd believe anything you told me.
Yeah. 7 home runs, though. And then the final tier, thin ice, but you're not dead yet. Tobias Harris, semi-controversial because he's good at his job. It's just, I think the Pistons have outgrown
And you know what
him.
he did? He stepped up in the playoffs.
Yeah. But unfortunately, the Pistons have just outgrown him. He's still the most upgradable spot in the lineup. Terry and Arnold, not controversial. Scott Harris, some people think he should be higher up. I say not until we see Max Clark. And also he deserves credit for Framber Valdez and Kevin McGonigal. Andrew Petzing, who, honestly, like, to be quite frank, I just really couldn't come up with a 10th person. Kyle brought up Tarek Skubal, and I kind of really like that idea of having Skubal on this. But it ended up being Drew Petzing. So there it is. There's your tower. Let's get to a little bit more feedback on it. Pete, again, says, no way Hinch should be higher than Harris. AJ Hinch is managing a AAA lineup. There's not a whole lot he can do. I don't know, man. I think you're right that he's managing he's over managing a AAA lineup, but I still think he's over managing it nonetheless. The fascination with Colt Keith only being allowed to play half of the time, the pinch hitting Gage Workman for Zach Short. Like, what are we doing? Why is Riley Green ever in the 5 hole? Let's just have our 4 best guys play in the first 4 spots. Like, did you see Zach McKinstry over the weekend, who has a 182 batting average, was the leadoff hitter? Sorry, man. I'd rather just Kevin McGonigal lead things off.
Yeah, and now they can't afford to have Kevin McGonigal take days off anymore. That was the big thing that came out of the weekend.
Mm-hmm. I don't know when Kevin McGonigal was ever getting off days to begin with.
He had like 2, but sure. I mean, the Hinch thing, I the more and more I've thought about it, I do think Hinch is too high. The issue, like, I think he should be in the bottom tier. I just
move
don't
Terry
know.
on up?
I don't know who goes up.
Is
Maybe
it Terry
Arnold?
on?
Maybe. But is it too early? Like, he's not dead. You're right. Like, it fits the name. The ice is thin, but you're not dead. He's not. He's still going into the year, like, as a starting outside corner for the Lions.
Yeah.
So I don't know who would go up, but I think it might be at least just pairing Hinch with Kenley and Torkelson feels a little bit rough because they are clearly more on the hot seat than he is.
Someone texted in all of Scott Harris's bad signings.
Seriously?
Matthew Boyd, $10 million. Alex
Hey,
Cobb.
Matthew Boyd is like an all-star pitcher for the Cubs, so.
Alex Cobb, $15 million.
Okay, yep.
Kenta Maeda, $24 million. Tommy Kahnle, $6 million.
Ooh.
Jack Flaherty, $40 million. Correction, it's 45. Justin Verlander, $13 million. Kenley Jansen, $13 million. Great judge of pitching talent. Signed wash-up old, often injured, cast-off pitchers. That's from Joe.
Yeah, man.
I mean, when you just
can't really
read
argue
that,
with you, Joe.
he should probably be a little higher.
I can't really argue with you on that one, Joe. You said a name, by the way, in the mix of there, not during that text, but the previous one, that I think actually is the new candidate that should be on here. And
Who?
maybe it's one too many Tigers.
Who would
Colt
that be?
Keith.
Oh.
Colt Keith, man. You want to talk about a guy that's on thin ice. He's got 0 homers right now. I can't think what the updated amount of days is. We're supposed to do
Like
that every day.
262.
Yeah, I got to start putting that in the news every day. Still going on 260-some days without a home run. He's a platoon bat at this point, and he's a negative WAR player. For a guy that, yeah, he gets on base, he gets singles, sure. Well, he doesn't really get on base. He just gets singles. I think Colt Keith deserves to be on here a little bit, too. The issue is he's not really on thin ice because he's under contract. So they're not just going to move off of him. He's under contract.
You can move him, but you're
What's
not
the
really,
point?
Yeah, what's really the point?
Who's trading for that? To him, it's like, look, Colt Keith, figure it out. That's why he's on thin ice.
Yeah. The 0 home runs is,
I can't believe it.
I mean, I can check the amount of days. I know it's September 10th from last year.
Right.
How many days has it been since September 10th? It's in my search history. 259 days since
Okay.
Colt Keith has hit a home
So
run.
tomorrow's the big 260.
Mm-hmm.
We going to celebrate? Or does it break tonight?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Not in Comerica. No.
Yeah, certainly not. I think Keith deserves a little bit of love here. The Skubal thing we can get into as well later because Skubal's different than everybody else on here.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else on here is on here for like a reason of, oh, that's at one point or another you've questioned their coaching / play / moves made. Skubal, you've never done that. But you've questioned everything else other than the play.
989-837-6125. 11 o'clock hour on the way. Do you still believe that this Detroit Tigers team can turn things around? That is how we're going to lead off the 11 o'clock hour. It's the Ben Bosher Show live here on the Mitt. Scott Family Dental, I mean, they know exactly how to fix your teeth up. Who knew that your dentist could be double as your fine line fixer? Scott Family Dental, they're helping Midland smile in and out of the office with Botox. Botox. You never would have guessed that they can help relieve pain in your mouth. But Scott Family Dental, they know all about it. Check them out.
The Ben Bosher Show, built by...
WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Nine 837-6125. This is the Ben Bosher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mitts. The Tigers are back in action today. Luckily, for those who have just tapped out of the season already, I do have some good news for you. They play the lone team that is worse than them in the American League for the next 3 days, the Los Angeles Angels. I have a feeling I know what's going to happen, Kyle. They're going to win this series, and all of a sudden,
We're back.
We're back. We're so back.
What would they have to do? I mean, you are kind of like taking the stance that they're back anyways.
Not that they're back, just that I'm not just like done with the season. I'm not ready to throw in the white towel quite yet.
How big of a series win would they have to have for you to be like, okay, yeah, they're back. Screw the last 9 series that they've lost.
No, they just have to win 5 of the next 6. And look who they play. They play Los Angeles, the bad version, and they play
the White Sox.
And the White Sox, the bad version of Chicago. Who has
not right now, the bad version of Chicago.
Yeah, they've had a fun start.
Cubs have lost 9 in a row.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Which is I'll make this quick. They're the first team since the 2017 Dodgers, 2 teams ever, to have 2 10-game win streaks and a 9-game losing streak in the same season. And it's May. They've done that already. Weird season for the Cubs.
Either way, Chicago's a very beatable team.
For sure.
I think is where I've come. So if they can take 5 in the next 6, consider me all the way back.
All the way back? Oh, man. I could just see consider my confidence scale boosted a little bit, but we have to keep in mind how, like I said, the 9 previous series have gone.
I mean, if they take 5 of the next 6 games, they would be 6 games. 5 of the next 6, they would be 26, and they'd be less than 10 games under 500.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
No, not
for a
at
team
all.
that we thought was going to go to the World Series, yeah.
They would be 25 and 34. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
You saying that actually has just I think now I am actually all out on the season.
If they can take 5 of the next 6 and they're still
the fact that it's like, okay, they win 5
under.
of 6, that makes me feel pretty good. And then all it means is that that's their record. Oh, then never mind.
And then they play Tampa, who's the best team in baseball.
You essentially have to do what you just did in the inverse. Lose 8 of your last 9 series. They would have to just win 8 of their next 9 series. Which, do you have any sense of confidence that could happen, though?
I mean, it depends when people are healthy.
I'm not saying you're ruling it out. I'm not saying you're ruling it out, but do you have any sense of confidence that can actually happen?
I mean, I think it can happen in the next 2 with the lineups that they have now. With how bad the Angels are and just the White Sox, they're a beatable team. Especially, you got Melton and Montero and Mize against Chicago as well.
Sure. Then you just go play.
Just kidding. You have Valdez, Melton, and Montero against Chicago.
Then you just have to go play the best team in the American League after that.
Yeah, but here's where I'm saying, if they can get through the next 6 games, I feel like they'll get one of their bats back. And that's not me reporting, but based on all these injury updates where it's like, oh yeah, Glaber's doing everything but swinging. Oh yeah, Javi's doing everything. He's fielding, he's hitting, he's doing it all. Kerry Carpenter, he's throwing, he's fielding, he's defense, he's swinging. It feels like we're going to get at least one of those guys back by the time the Tampa Bay series hits next Monday. That is my prediction based on nothing but the injury reports that they provide us.
Like it.
No, but based on reading the injury reports that they provide to us every 2 weeks, not insider information. But they've been close to coming back for a while now, all 3 of them, except for the setback with Gleyber Torres that he had over the weekend with the swing with this oblique. But the other 2 guys, they've been so close for too long to where I do think that one of them should probably be back by Monday. Maybe that's optimistic thinking. I think we need a little bit of optimism right now with this team.
That's a good point. I mean, it's all been just very bad and sad and depressing things with this team so far. And I'm with you in the fact that anything that takes off one of these god-awful players from the field on an everyday basis is an immediate boost. I'm not saying it's going to result in they're going to win 5 games in a row the second Javi Baez gets back in the lineup. No, but it also means that Zach Short's not playing every day. It means that
The worst player in
Potentially
baseball is
Wenzel
not
Perez
playing every
isn't
day.
playing every day. It means that Zach McKinstry isn't playing every single day. Like, it just adds up over time. So, yeah, the fact that you do have Short and Perez right now, who are probably once again going to be in the lineup tonight, at an everyday basis, it's extremely frustrating.
I'm looking at these next two series as potentially winnable ones for the Tigers. And then you obviously play Tampa and Seattle. Both have been good teams this year. And then guess what? You have back-to-back series against the AL Central in Minnesota and Cleveland. Boom. Just like that. There's another opportunity
you've beaten
to climb.
in how many games this year?
0.
Oh, 0.
0.
Right. And how many times you played? 8 times.
8 times. And you're 0-8 against those two teams.
Chance to make it up?
I don't think they're going to just go winless against these
no,
teams.
it's just funny. But this is what I'm saying. Like, all of this is based off of optimism when the results have been right in front of our face.
Sure.
Oh, they have Minnesota and Cleveland. Oh, yeah, they went 0-4 against both of those
Sure,
teams.
but when they play Minnesota and Cleveland the last time around, were they the Detroit Tigers? No, not really. Well, I guess they did play Minnesota early.
And it's like...
Yeah, so, okay, I'll give you the Minnesota one. They got
the
swept by
Detroit
Minnesota.
Tigers was a team that was barely above 500. That's the tough part. Is like this team
But
never
above
really
500
was
nonetheless.
2 games up. Like, we thought this
that'd be
team
in
was a
first
World
place
Series
in the
team.
West.
We thought this was a 90-win team.
I mean, they were 2 games above 500, 25 games in? Like, that's a pretty small sample size in the grand scheme of things.
Sure, and so is the sample size that they're on right now since that day, too. But it's been bad enough where you're not going to say, oh, with the small sample size, that's fine. They're going to figure it out. Like, no, they've been terrible for a month now. So I get what you're saying. You're right. And I'm not like saying the season is over. But just looking at the way things have gone and trying to predict how their next several series are going to go, it's very difficult to just be like, oh, well, they could win that team. They could beat that team. They could beat anybody. Well, of course they could, but I'm going to look at what has happened. I'm going to look at the product we've actually been seeing and make my predictions based off of that.
Plus 850 to win the division right now. The 19% chance on Fangraphs to make the playoffs tells you that they're just still optimistic, and all of their advanced analytics are still optimistic that the Tigers are going to figure it out. Part of it is that they have the 18th hardest strength of schedule left, which basically implies they have the 12th easiest schedule. And there's been a handful of teams that have been able to claw their way out of 50-game starts that didn't go the way that they thought they were going to. Like the Nationals in 2019 started 19-31. 74-38 the rest of the way, won the World Series. Dodgers in 2013, 30-42. They ended up winning 92 games. Philly in 2022 started 22-29 through 51, 87-win team. Astros in 05, they were 15-30 before finishing 89-73. Rockies in 2009 started 20-30, finished with 92 wins. There is examples of teams just disappointing at the beginning of the year and then getting hot and turning into the team that they thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. It's not like this has never happened. Now, you're right in saying that, well, more often than not, that the teams just continue to be bad.
Yeah,
and these are
and
just
that
the
happens
examples
like
of not
several times every season, yeah.
Right, and these are just the examples of the exception to it. Well, there are exceptions to it, I guess is what I'm saying. And it's just a matter of how quickly can they get healthy, and are they actually going to be a competitive baseball team with a little FU mentality, which they're going to need the rest of the season if they are going to come back and put themselves in a position to where they are not selling at the deadline. They're going to need a little edge to them, and I don't feel like they have that right now. I feel like that requires Skubal coming back.
Yeah, it 100% does. That 09 Rockies team, by the way, that was one of my favorite teams as a kid. Troy Tulowitzki on that squad, Carlos Gonzalez, man, those teams were really fun. But yeah, the issue is, too, like when you do run through those squads, they all have, like, superstars. And we can say, like, yeah, Tarek Skubal is the Tigers superstar. Sure, one, he's injured, and two, like, the pitcher being the superstar, like the Nationals, the most recent one, that team had Juan Soto. The team had, like, an insanely awesome young Juan Soto.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Tigers have that? McGonigal's a great rookie, 100%. He's not Juan Soto. I mean, Juan Soto was unbelievable. So it's just, they need something to claw them out of that. Those teams, you could grasp to something that was like, okay, I could see how they got clawed out of that because they had this group of guys. They had these superstars. This guy that had an awesome year. Riley Green, I guess, is that guy right now for the Tigers.
Yeah.
But he certainly can't do it on his own because he's not at that elevated, like a top 5 superstar in baseball where he can do it on his own. So it makes it tough. Like, they definitely can come out of this I'm not disagreeing that. It's just based off of what we've seen, it's going to be very hard to predict that.
Maybe they're like the thing that pulls them out of that is all of a sudden when it's Skubal, Mize, Melton, and Fromber, all of a sudden it's just like those are 4 guys you feel pretty good about on a nightly basis.
Maybe it just is the Skubal
Montero.
thing. Like maybe legit, like you could be right. It could just be the fact that they have not had Skubal has really been the main reason why things have gone badly.
And it's not just the one of every 5 days. It's having him around because clearly he's the only guy with a competitive gene in his body. And him being in the dugout sparks guys. Like this is the losing started the second he hit IL. It clearly is something more than just when he's out on the mound.
Yeah, and we have a lot of evidence to support that now at this point too.
He's also like just one of the older guys on the team at this point too. 29 years old. He's just one of the vets.
And I think there's just a sense of you going into a series knowing that Skubal's pitching in it, whether it's game 1, game 3, like knowing that you can rely on him and bank on him to give you a good start every time. Obviously, that's not going to be said out loud by the players, and it's like, oh, you feel the same way about Mize and Fromber, but like,
I mean, you and I
there's
feel
a sense to that. It just adds a confidence for everyone involved. Oh, Skubal's on the mound in game 3. Okay, let's go. Like, we got to bring it in games 1 and 2 because we know he's bringing it in game 3.
I mean, yeah, it's a tone setter for sure.
Yeah,
and you and I do it. Oh, it's Skubal bump day. We get a little bit excited. I'm sure the players get excited too because they have someone who turns into like a psychopath when he steps onto the mound. Someone who literally becomes deranged when he's on the mound in the best way possible.
Yeah,
I think it gets people fired up and it probably wears off on them for the next game and maybe the game before because it's like, oh, Skubal's playing tomorrow. Like we can't let him down. There's a sense of urgency that they're missing right now without Tarek Skubal in the lineup 1 of every 5 days. But honestly, like forget Verlander, forget Montero, forget Flaherty. If you can get yourself in a rotation to where it's Skubal, like let's say 2 weeks from now, the rotation is Skubal, Melton, Fromber Valdez, and Casey Mize. 4 guys that have, like I know Melton's only pitched 1 game, but like 4 guys you kind of trust in a lot of ways. We'll see.
How long has Skubal been on the IL at this point?
May 4th, I believe the date was. He's eligible to come off at any time.
Well, yeah, but obviously he still has a good ways to go. I'm just trying to figure this out in my brain. Like, what is a realistic time to actually hope he could be back by? The end of June, like a realistic true time?
The end of June? No, I think it's much sooner than that.
But I'm saying, like, by the end of June, he'll be back. Like, at the latest. Like, if we're going to give it a point of, like, okay, he for sure will be back by then.
Yeah, that's fair.
He has to make several rehab starts before we even consider him coming back to the major league team.
He said 2 bullpen sessions. He's been thrown outside at Comerica. I don't think it's crazy to say within the next 2 weeks.
Oh, really? I mean, 2 weeks?
I don't think it's crazy.
2 weeks is 2 bullpen or 2 rehabs.
I only think he's going to have 1 rehab start, though.
He hasn't even had a live BP session.
Okay, then that's the next step.
Come off of a major surgery. Like, I don't know. I think I'm going to be optimistic about it.
Pessimistic?
Or, yeah.
989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosher Show live here on 100.9 The Mid. Tee up at Sandy Ridge Golf Course, Midland's Hidden Gem, where every round feels like a little bit of a getaway. Kyle and I spent Memorial Day there. Kyle won. Spoiler alert.
Yep.
Now featuring a brand new clubhouse, part lounge, part hangout, all class, perfect for cooling down or talking smack after 18. We stopped in there after 9, picked up a couple drinks along the way. Perfect place to get in and out. Smooth greens, scenic fairways, and enough birdies to make your buddies jealous. Whether you're a weekend warrior, or just there for the vibe, Sandy Ridge brings the game and the chill. Book a tee time, plan your outing, or stop by and pretend you know how to read a green. Sandy Ridge Golf Course, the hidden gem that's way too good to stay a secret.
The Ben Bosher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, let's get into a couple more comments about the Tuesday Tower for today. A lot of feedback about Petzing. One comment that just says, Drew Petzing being on here is hilarious. Nobody trusts that goober. And then there's another one that says, hasn't even touched a play sheet yet. Someone said, tough stance on new OC Drew Petzing for the Lions. Man can't have a little bit of rope, ? Yeah, I think I might have been grasping at straws at this one a little bit, admittedly. I think if I were to do this over, if I would have called you before the show and have you been my conciliary on this one, maybe it's Colt Keith or Tarek Skubal that would have ended in that last spot.
Yeah, but that's kind of the whole point, right?
Yeah.
We get to react to it, make adjustments to it based off of what other people think. Yeah, Petzing, it just feels like I almost feel bad for him that he's on here. Like,
Me
oh,
too.
Drew Petzing, really? Come on. Like, we
Also
can do
just kind of funny,
Yeah, bald guy. It is funny. I think I would give it to Skubal. I think Keith maybe deserves it, but the issue is, it's just kind of the same thing as Jalen Duren. Keith is under contract. They're not just going to get rid of him.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere, so he's not on thin ice. But certainly, I'm getting annoyed with him if we want to do that, the whole thing. And you could just default put another guy that's playing bad on the Tigers. You could do that, but who cares if you put
Zach
Short on here? Or yeah, exactly.
Wenzel's a little different because he's been a part of this for over a year and a half.
And legit plays every day at this point.
And is the worst player in Major League Baseball. It's crazy.
Yeah, he is. I think I would put Skubal on here, and kind of what we were hinting at was it's weird because everyone else that's on here is on here for there was a time where you questioned their talent level at whatever they do. And you can't say that about Skubal. We literally just spent the last segment doing the opposite. We challenged the entire team's talent level based off of him not playing. He obviously affects things so well. But you want to talk about a guy that might not be on the team next year. There isn't a guy that's higher on the list than Tarek Skubal, just because of everything we've talked about over the last calendar year. And then everything he did in the offseason already had him on thin ice with fans. I saw we had some YouTube chats earlier in the show just talking about, I'm kind of sick of Tarek Skubal. He's great. He's an awesome player. But everything that happened this offseason, I just don't even care that much anymore. And now that the team is bad, I think fans are much more accepting of trading Tarek Skubal more now than ever before. So for those reasons, I would probably include him on this. But obviously that's up for debate.
I think Skubal being on here is reasonable. I think redoing it, Drew Petzing probably comes off, and Skubal or Colt Keith has to go on in here. I got one message that says, Torque's got to get out of here, man. Torque's in that he's in the third group, the Last Chance U with Kenley Jansen and AJ Hinch. I just can't put Torkelson any higher because...
Well, do they mean Torque's got to get out of here he has to get off the pyramid because he's not that bad?
No,
or he's got to get off the team?
I can only assume that means get off the team.
Yeah, you're right.
It's crazy that there's two players that are substantially ahead of him, though. For as bad as Torkelson's been, at least he has the 7 home runs.
Sure.
Wenzel Perez and Jack Flaherty. It's those guys, the tier is called addition by subtraction for a reason. Those guys just being off the team and not having a replacement, having 2 less players on the active roster, I think would make the Tigers better than they actually are right now with those 2 guys impacting them negatively every day.
Which, technically Torkelson does impact them negatively every day with his WAR, but
sure.
But I get what you're saying. It's not to the level of Wenzel Perez. And it makes it more sense to have Perez up there because, hypothetically, when healthy, Wenzel Perez would be subtracted when the Tigers are healthy, whereas Torkelson would not be.
Got a text that said, Ben's really just a casual sportsman for real.
Speaking facts.
One text said, Kenley Jansen ain't pitching enough to be a problem. I don't know, man. 4 times he's blown a save.
Sure, yeah.
It seems like a big enough problem to me.
He's not pitching enough, I guess you could say, but when he does, it has not gone well. So that's the case I would be made there. If you're in a limited sample, okay, you have to 14 innings pitched, and he's given up 8 runs. That's
good.
Crazy.
It's not good at all. Yeah, I think that's. You know what we really didn't spend a lot of time on with this list is
Arnold.
Terrion Arnold, sure, but I was going to say the guy at the top, Steve
good
Yzerman.
point, good
There's just
point.
nothing else to say. How are you still here, Steve Yzerman? 7 years you've been the GM of the Red Wings. In 7 years, this team has missed the playoffs. I don't think there's really much else to say. Like, there's no one out there that's like, oh boy, I'm glad they didn't fire Steve Yzerman. It's like crazy that he's still employed by the Red Wings, that they didn't, already announce some decision for him. I mean, he's not going to get fired. He'd be fired by now if he was going to be fired. He had his end of the year press conference. The season's been over for what, a month and a half now? Yeah.
We're
just
almost
here.
in the Stanley Cup Finals at this point. Like, he's for sure just here. Which I think there's a reason why we haven't talked about it, and a reason you're not getting texts about it is because everyone agrees.
Right. It's ludicrous that he's still around.
100%. By the way, going quickly back to the Kenley Jansen thing, Kenley Jansen tied in a 4-tie race right now across all of baseball for most blown saves with 4.
Yeah.
And tied for second with 3 is Kyle Finnegan. So Tigers have 2 guys in first and second in blown saves in baseball.
Yeah, I think they're pitching enough to make the list. This is the Ben Bosher Show. We are live here on 100.9 The Mitt. We'll hit the news when we come back, and also our 3 traditions to close out every show. I'll be honest, I don't really know anything about technology. That's why I trust Link Technology in Midland. They handle all the complicated stuff, IT support, cybersecurity, cloud solutions, networking, so you don't have to stress about it. Whatever your business needs, their team knows exactly what to do. They make it easy to understand along the way. Link Technology, the experts who keep your business running smoothly so you can focus on what you do best.
The Ben Bosher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh.
Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Nine 837-6125. Welcome back in. This is the Ben Bosher Show, and this is Kyle Sandel with the news.
The Mits Morning Catch.
Okay, let's get right back into the news. You already mentioned it earlier, Ben, but the Tigers are hosting the Los Angeles Angels in a 3-game series. It kicks off tonight at 6:40. Kiter Montero on the mound for the Tigers. They actually have 3 starting pitchers going in this series, so that's pretty fun. With the addition of Troy Melton, it's going to make things a lot easier as far as their bullpen days go. They still have a scheduled bullpen day in the rotation right now, but it goes Montero, Mize, and the man Jack Flaherty this week against the Angels. Valdez next in rotation, and then there's still that blank, but I'm assuming that Troy Melton is going to get that spot further, like going forward now, but we'll see.
I would sure hope so. He was good in his debut.
Yeah.
I want to continue. That's like the part of the Tigers lineup and Tigers rotation right now that I'm looking forward to watching the most.
Maybe just the Tigers team in general. It's what I'm looking forward to the most.
I agree.
The fact that they have him. Yeah, because we've been excited for him to return all season long. Okay, today, by the way, look in the community calendar presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Today is National Paper Airplane Day. In case you were wondering. Were you ever a big paper airplane person?
No.
Never made them?
Nope.
Oh. Well, if you want to go make one, they're celebrating National Paper Airplane Day at the Jack Barstow Airport here in Midland. There's age group awards for farthest distance awarded after the show from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And the paper planes can only be made from 20-pound paper. So yeah, if you want to go do that, check that out. Okay, also tomorrow is the deadline for college players that have declared for the NBA draft to return to college or stay in the draft. AKA, what is Jeremy Fears going to do? Because initially this was fully believed that Jeremy Fears was going to return to Michigan State as the second he declared for the draft. Everyone kind of assumed this. And all of a sudden, Fears has been getting really good feedback apparently at the draft. There's been a lot of kind of cryptic messages put out there by Jeremy Fears Sr., the father of the point guard. So, I don't know. Fears might, stay in the draft, which would really kill MSU's hopes of anything next year, 100%.
Yeah, that ruined their season.
Yes.
After, having real expectations that they could, do something special this offseason.
Yeah, next year's roster is no doubt Izzo's best roster post-COVID. 100% it is. But without Fears, it's not. He's the All-American. He is the guy that drives the ship. He's Big Ten Player of the Year potentially next year. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, if he feels like he is going to be an NBA draft pick, then I'm not gonna doubt him. It would just hurt for Spartans fans, that's for sure. Okay, other stuff going on in the news. Spurs Thunder tonight, Game 5 at 8:30. We've discussed this a little bit, but it's back in OKC after the Spurs knotted things up at 2 games apiece. OKC 4.5-point favorites tonight.
I got San Antonio. I think San Antonio can bring it tonight in a way where they shock OKC because OKC back at home thinks that this is going to be easy. We'll get our whistle back. They're not winning here at home. And then when Wemby's just unafraid of that in every way, when Wemby's just it doesn't matter at all to him where he's playing or the atmosphere he's in, and that can't shake him, I think that actually ends up shaking OKC.
A.J. Mitchell already ruled out for the Thunder in this game. Jalen Williams is questionable, but I'm just going to assume that Jalen Williams is not coming back based off of a repeated hamstring injury, and nobody on the injury report for San Antonio. So the health concerns that maybe early in this series were leaning in the direction of San Antonio have flipped because De'Aaron Fox is back, Harper's back, and now OKC is the one with the injury bug 4.5-point favorites is, man, OKC, they just give them a tough edge every single time. They were slight underdogs in both of the road games, but 4.5-point favorites despite how Game 4 went is pretty interesting. We also are at the point now where, sadly, there's not going to be basketball on every night because the Knicks are going back to the NBA Finals after sweeping the Cavs yesterday. What do you think the Cavs or the Knicks' best chance to win the Finals is?
Like odds-wise?
No, just like against
opponent.
Matchup. Yeah, like what is their best chance of actually winning the Finals?
Probably playing the Spurs because they have the cat element to draw Wembanyama out of the paint. So Wemby realistically guards Josh Hart, and Josh Hart's been shooting the 3-ball well enough to where you probably have to respect him out there. I think they can probably draw Wemby out to the 3-point line better than even OKC is doing right now. So for that reason, I would say the Knicks probably want to play Wemby.
I would think so too. And just you could bank on the history side of things, like, oh, they're not going to win the Finals. That hasn't happened. Team showing up to the playoffs and winning the Finals. They could bank on that. It would be kind of funny because it was Knicks Spurs back in 1999 as well, if that ended up being the matchup. So it'd be kind of fun to see that again. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think San Antonio is the Knicks' best chance. So we'll see what happens there. They're plus 220 right now to win the title. Skipping it over to the NHL playoff bracket as far as the conference finals matchups go there. Vegas is up 3-0 on Colorado. They have a chance to close out that series via sweep tonight. That is at 9 tonight. Golden Knights versus Avalanche with a 3-0 lead for the Knights. And then on the Eastern Conference side of things, it is a 2-1 lead for Carolina over Montreal. Game 4 of that series will be tomorrow night.
Do you have a specific team that you're rooting for in all of this?
No.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I really don't.
I guess Golden Knights.
I mainly just want a good finals. Like I usually watch all the Stanley Cup Finals games. Obviously, I mean, we're pretty obviously open, not huge hockey guys, but when the Stanley Cup Finals roll around, I'll watch every game.
Yeah,
as long as it's a good series. Like that's all I care about. So, and honestly, now that there's not basketball on every night, I might have to just tune into Canadians Hurricanes tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Okay, keeping things rolling in the news. We had a no-hitter thrown yesterday on Memorial Day. Pretty crazy. A combined no-hitter from the Astros versus the Texas Rangers. It's the first no-hitter thrown in baseball since 2024. Tatsuya Imai was the starter for Houston. He went 6, and then Steven Okert and Alimber Santa finished it off in the final 3. The combined no-hitters obviously don't feel as cool, of course. They're much cooler when it's just one guy. Nonetheless, it's a no-hitter. That's awesome. So shout out to the Astros for doing that. This past weekend on Saturday, Johnny Manziel picks up a win in his MMA debut, and then immediately after the fight says he will never fight again. He says he's one and done, wrap it up, he got a win, and that's it. Did you watch this fight?
I saw the highlight. I didn't watch it. I saw the clips of it.
Same. I mean, the clip wasn't that long. It was like a 30-second fight. Yeah.
It looked like two guys who have been ripping tequila shots all night long decided to throw hands outside of the parking lot of your local dive bar.
It literally did. Like that is the perfect way to describe it.
It was bad. Yeah, it was bad.
Really bad fight. Bob Menery, who he was fighting, kept spitting out his mouth guard, and the official had to come in and put his mouth guard back in, and he kept throwing it back out, and then they had to call the fight because he was getting repeatedly punched in the face with no mouth guard on. And then he was all mad when they called the fight.
I also didn't understand what I was like. They were in a boxing ring, but it was an MMA fight, and they were kicking each other, but there was like ropes, and
Well, and most
I
of the
didn't
time,
understand any of it.
Yeah, I thought it was a boxing match because most of the time there's these celebrity things. It is a boxing match.
Yeah, but
then
it was not.
Out of nowhere, Manziel comes in and kicks him, and then they start wrestling. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, like, this is not a boxing match, okay?
They just didn't want to do it in a cage. I don't know what that was, who put that event on, but I can only imagine that failed miserably.
Yeah.
From an earnings standpoint.
But at least Johnny Manziel won.
I guess.
Sure, yeah. Okay, we'll close the news with this because we talked about this a little bit last week on the Big Ten side of things, but Greg Sankey of the SEC has now spoken out about this 24-team college football playoff. The Big Ten spring meetings is what brought this topic back up, and Sankey says that he is unconcerned about his division, the SEC, having a split decision or a division going on in the conference. There are some teams that are in favor of the 2014 playoff in the SEC. Most of them still want to do the 16-team playoff, and if it's not 16, they're cool with sticking at 12. The Big Ten, on the other hand, they're all in. Every single one of them, they are united wanting this 2014 playoff, whereas the SEC is kind of wish-washy.
Yeah, it just means more up here. We're all united. We all have the same goals up in the Big Ten, out in the Big Ten, out
But that
west.
scares me, though. That scares me that the Big Ten is full in for the 24 team, and then some of the SEC, when they're supposed to be stand pat against the Big Ten, not wanting that, some of them are like, well...
I mean, Kyle, this is happening, isn't it?
I think
this is just going to happen at some point.
They have until December 1st to find out, but I think the goal was that they actually lock it in like much sooner than that. But it's just going to get pushed back further and further. Yeah, it's going to happen, though. I mean, we're already getting expansion in the NCAA tournament, basketball-wise, and the CFP is absolutely coming next. But going from 12 to 24, I mean, what a ridiculous jump.
there are 16 NFL playoff teams, and we're gonna put 24 in college, as if there's 24 teams that can win a national championship on any given year. Like, shouldn't the number of playoff teams for any sport be the number of teams we think can contend to win a World Series or championship of some sort? Not let's just squeeze as many teams in as possible. Do we even feel like there's 12 teams on a given year that can win a national championship?
No, I mean, literally last year we had this conversation.
The answer is no. There was blowouts.
But I'd still be fine with 12 if it's stuck at 12.
Sure. Yeah. We're not reducing it, so I'm fine with sticking at 12. Unfortunately, they're going to bounce it to 24 when realistically there's 7 teams every year that can win a national championship, if that. It's the Ben Bosher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Winter in Michigan can be brutal. Good thing it's finally starting to warm up. Last thing you want is for your AC unit or your furnace to quit on you when it's cold outside or when it's starting to get warm like it is right now. That's where Answer Heating and Cooling comes in. Get your furnace or AC unit running efficiently so your home stays comfortable all year round. That's Answer Heating and Cooling, keeping Midland warms cozy every month of the year.
The Ben Bosher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
All right, welcome back in. This is the Ben Bosher Show. We are live here with Kyle Sandel, Ben Bosher, here to bring you our three traditions to close out every show. The first of which is our Lock of the Day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
I'm going to the Spurs game, Kyle. I've got Victor Wembanyama to score 25 points. He's done that in 3 of the 4 games so far in this series against Oklahoma City. Today's the day I think he becomes uncontainable. OKC thinks it's an easy home game. Wemby doesn't care, asserts his will, breaks OKC's spirit, and all of a sudden they feel the same way that Minnesota felt at some point, where it was just like, I don't really know what we're supposed to do against Wembanyama. And the second they all feel like that, coaching staff, players, they feel like they can't stop them, that's when the series is over. Because they essentially are saying, I don't know what we're supposed to do. And I feel like they get to that point tonight because Wemby continues to go bananas.
Tough value play today, by the way.
Minus 160.
Minus 160.
Well, here's the logic behind that.
It's still, but it's not like it's for him to make a 3, to score 25.
They think he's going to do it.
He's averaging 25 on the dot. I don't know. It's just.
So you don't like the value play.
I think the value is just really tough here.
Here's the logic behind the short value play. We're up 1.8 units on the month. I'm only doing 2 more shows this month. All I have to do is hit today and boom, just like that. Positive month for the first time since
January.
Okay. That's not bad. It's like the Tigers. We can still come back from this thing. We can.
It would be one of your 3 all-time positive months.
So I'm playing
going back to 2025. Yeah.
So what do you think? Tail or fade?
I mean, I think I have to tail this, but it's just because it is minus 160. So usually when something is a high plus thing, I fade you. If it's a high minus, then I will tail today.
All right, Kyle's gonna tail. That is our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
The next tradition we have is our game of the day.
Game of the day.
I mean, it's the Spurs in OKC. This one kind of goes without saying. Every other day from this point forward, as long as Wembanyama's playing, man, this is going to be the game of the day. I hope that NHL and
as long as Wembanyama's playing, he's the only guy that's got to be playing for it to be the game of the day.
I mean, if Wembanyama's not playing, it's significantly less interesting. I mean, it's still interesting
for sure.
Nonetheless, but
it'd be significantly less interesting if Shea wasn't playing as well.
I'd enjoy it more.
Oh, that's messed up.
I'd be like, oh my God, Wemby's going to do it. He's actually going to get it done. No, obviously I want both of the guys to be playing. I want both teams to be at full strength, and I still because if Wemby can break down this OKC team at full strength, then we are talking that this guy's on the verge of doing something pretty special. But I hope the NHL and NBA, once they get into finals mode, they have they're not sharing dates. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, the NBA, they do a good job of in the conference finals of splitting this into every other day these games are played. And then after that, the NBA finals, they just throw all that away. They go every 2 days in the NBA finals. Finals don't start till Wednesday, June 3rd, by the way, so there's quite some time. There's the extra day given in between for road travel in the finals. So Yeah, the finals isn't going to end. Like, Game 7 of the finals, potentially, is Friday, June 19th. That's almost a month from now.
Yeah, it is wild how long the NBA Finals takes.
It takes
Or,
way
NBA
too
playoffs.
long.
The
But
first
the
round
finals
just takes way too long.
And the finals takes way too long. Like, at least the conference finals, they do a good job of every other day. But, man, the finals takes way too long.
It's the finals in the first round that really gets dragged out. Because the first round, it's like everybody gets the extra days off. I'm not really 100% sure why. They just don't want 4 games every day, I suppose. I feel like that's just leads to like a madness, which is maybe a good in a controlled setting.
They want more games on TV in their own times.
Yeah, true.
That's all it's about.
Yeah, this year was ridiculous. Oh, here's an 11 p.m. playoff game, ET.
Yeah,
What?
it's on NBC. It's on Peacock.
What are we talking about?
Watch
No
it.
one's watching this.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is our game of the day.
Game of the day.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
Okay, the last thing that we have is predicting what Colin Cowherd opens with. The Herd, Fox Sports Radio, takes over our airwaves at noon. What do we think Colin's going to open up his show with today, Kyle?
Okay, it is 57-56. Ben has the lead over me. Nobody got a point on Friday. He did a Jalen Brunson is like one of the better selfless superstars in sports take, and it was a really good take, actually, laid out really well. So no one got a point then. Ben's up by 1. It is my turn to go first today. I mean, a pretty obvious one today, right? I feel like I know it's coming off of Memorial Day, so it's a long weekend. There's a lot of things you could choose from. The Knicks are going to the finals.
Yeah.
The Knicks are going to the finals for the first time since 1999, and they might actually have a chance to win. Like, they're on this crazy dominant run. They've won 11 games in a row. And usually he kind of has trashed the Knicks. Oh, but it's easy. The teams are playing are easy. They've dominated at a level now where you can't say that anymore. So
I agree with you, but can I say that Colin opens up with Knicks are getting thrashed? They lucked their way into the finals. Whoever comes out of the West is going to disown this Knicks team.
sure, but like, can't both of our leads exist at the same time?
Well, I thought yours was mostly like they've got a chance to win the finals. Like
Okay,
they're positive.
Sure, then sure.
Mine was going to be. I mean, if you don't think they can, then
No,
I
that's
can think
fine.
of something
That's
else.
fine.
I just figured yours was a pro Knicks thing, and mine would be I'm going to zag and tell you why the Knicks are actually frauds, even though they're in the finals.
Yeah. Okay. Works for me.
I don't agree with that, though. I think something clicked in Game 3 for me where it was suddenly like, wow, I think this Knicks team actually knows the secret.
Yeah, and I think both things can exist. Like, yes, the rest of the teams in the East clearly are much weaker than, one, the Knicks and the Western Conference. No doubt about that. But, like, the Knicks have just dominated. Like, they are a good team, 100%. It's going to be weird for them to, like, the level of difference between Cleveland and Philly versus either OKC or San Antonio is probably going to be a bit shocking to have to deal with right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see how that's going to go. But I think they can at least win 1 or 2 games in the finals.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, well, that is going to do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow. Excited about tomorrow's show because we're giving away Detroit Tigers tickets, man. Big Win Wednesday, thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet. So, chance to win Tigers tickets at about 10:15 a.m. All you got to do is text in. Save the number, 989-837-6125, so you never forget. Also, please like and subscribe on YouTube because we've seen the subscriber count continue to climb. That's been so awesome to see, so we appreciate you guys who've been doing that. If you're not subscribed already and you do enjoy the show, go ahead and do that for us. Hit the notification button so you can get notified when we go live every day at 9 a.m. Follow us on Facebook for the latest stats, graphics, stories. Facebook's basically the way to stay up to date on everything happening with the Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State. Oh, Tigers updates. Oh, we got Lions updates. Everything. We have everything on our Facebook page. And then with the Instagram and TikTok, that's your exclusive video content, short form for stuff like that. So some fun stuff on there too. Kyle does the walk around questions. Great stuff. All right, we appreciate everybody for being there with us today. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow for Big Win Wednesday, doing a Detroit Tigers ticket giveaway. Thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet. I'm doing huge today, too, so I'll see you guys at 3 o'clock if you are listening to 100.9 The Mint. We'll see you then.
The Ben Bosher